The following is intended for mature audiences only. May contain strong language, crude humor, adult themes, and suggestive material.
Oh, guess who we saw?
Who?
Guess who we saw, girl? Juvenile.
When isn't that appropriate? That's so fucking appropriate for New Orleans.
That's so sketch.
Oh, yeah. It was like on the side of the road.
You might want to take it easy, bro.
Yeah.
That's kind of strong.
I got it.
Yeah, no, it's dead. I don't know what's going on, dude. Dude, are you okay? You might want to take it easy, bro. That's kind of strong. I told you, you fucking asshole.
Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and vomit nose. Anything is possible. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Jake Bradbury.
And I'm Will Blank.
And we are 20th Century Fox, a film collective that produced 16 short films. And for each film, we made a behind-the-scenes podcast. The guests on today's podcast are director of photography Alejandra Wilkins and actress Veronica Kemp. Today's podcast is all about getting high and still making a funny short. In the film, Will gets too high, and he went full method acting and got too high in real life. This was a quick shoot, but a fun one to play around and navigate. And we learned once again that V's facial expressions make a short film great.
All right, let's go.
We should introduce ourselves. Yeah. Okay, this one is about how high. It's the high short, and I'll start introducing myself. I'm Jake Bradbury. I helped direct this one.
No, we don't have to introduce ourselves. Really? No.
Will. Will.
Don't say your last name
Will
either.
Blank.
Get into it.
He directed it.
That's Jake.
Alejandro.
That's Will. That's V, and this is
And I am V.
Alejandro.
V's here. She was
I
the
am.
star. She was the star of this piece.
The co-star.
Yeah, she was the star. We realized halfway through that we didn't get any coverage on Will, so you were the star of this piece.
Yeah, no, we were actually this was a tough one because we really did think we were gonna like change protagonists. Basically, it was always like, oh, I get too high, but then at a certain point, I was like, maybe this is not my story. This is actually Veronica's story.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
Like she was the one who warned me not to do it.
I
And
did.
then she
I did.
used The Shining.
Yeah.
And then she used The Shining to break through my fucking high.
Oh man.
Yeah, this was
was
like
fun.
we thought it was really her thing. But we had the idea before you came over? Did we
Yes.
tell you? Okay, we were like, "Oh, hey, we're doing one where I get too high basically."
Oh no, I found out when I arrived.
That you were going to be in it.
Sounds
Yeah,
about
and
right.
then I also found out I would be in it when I arrived, which was really interesting.
We do have a tendency to just anybody who's
Yeah,
around,
no-
we're like, you're in it now.
It was so cool that you guys were game too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it sounded
just-
fun, and it ended up being a really good time.
So it also came about because we were all hanging out, and they were like, "What's this one gonna be about?" I'm like, I don't know. Let's just get high and see if we can come up with some ideas. And let me tell you, it worked on this one. I wouldn't do it again.
It doesn't work for me to get high to do these, actually.
Yeah.
It makes me I'm not an active person when I'm high. I laugh a lot and I have fun, but it's like I'm in one place.
Trying to direct Will while he was high is like hurting cats. He would forget that he was even in a movie. That was one thing that happened. he would also forget like that it was a take or what take it was or what he was about to say or what he was about to do. And I was like, all right.
Really?
Let's do that. Yes, absolutely.
I guess I guess I don't remember enough.
You were getting higher throughout
Well,
the entire time.
here's what I remember. I remember being scared because we needed to do that dollying shot, which was like this cool blowing smoke out shot, and that was like I had only a certain amount of times I could do that.
Yeah, you had to hit that
because like
really hard every time.
I would get too high.
You had to take massive hits.
It would become the actual short, And I was really afraid of that. And so I was like, dude, we got like 3, maybe 4, because it needed to be a huge bong rip,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, to
we
get
went through
enough
a
smoke.
few before it actually worked out.
Yeah, and I was worried about the actual bong rip we got, that it wasn't big enough, because I was getting scared towards the end, that I was like, oh shit, like I can't be taking these huge hits. Like
Wait, can I go back to the original question and say some of the reasons why I thought that was really funny?
Yeah.
Obviously, because I've been working with you guys for a little while and seeing you guys on the camera a lot. And then when Veronica was on camera and her looks that she gives to you just kills me for whatever reason. And the way that it's also the way that we shot it, the perspective that you hold on is more like, this is, that person. It's very relatable immediately. And then there's little parts that hit you from the side, like the juvenile, and everything works.
Yeah.
So the juvenile comes back around like 3 times in it, and then the ending.
It does.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
It's
and then the
joke
ending
format.
with the like shaking and freaking out. It's almost like I anticipated that, and it was everything that I wanted it to be. And then also the weird shit, like looking into the eyeball of the fish.
Yeah.
Everything about that short is like how my mind kind of works
yeah.
on a regular basis.
Right.
It's just, this is the kind of stuff that goes on in the world that we don't pay attention to, and I love it.
You hit on the theme that we're trying to explore throughout this whole thing, is that taking that those mundane moments that people don't pay attention to and exaggerating them to such a crazy degree.
It's almost not even exaggeration. It's like exploration. It's like I didn't like, you see drug scenes in movies and you're just like, okay, you've seen it a billion times, like the video's warping and all this shit, and I'm just like, I thought it would just be so much more interesting, and that's what the focus of the video became, of like, how can we translate what it actually feels like to be too high or to be getting too high, and like see how close we can get with just that.
The dryness in your mouth,
the
eyes like being
the
dry
heaviness
as
of your
well, the
eyelids,
heaviness, So V, for you, what was it like being in your first, or I don't know if it's your first video?
No, it was my first. I have been in a few YouTube things before, but not really anything like this. And so,
but you're not like an actress. Like,
No,
we should
I'm
clarify that. You're my friend.
Yes,
You're my
not
friend. You're not
an
somebody we
actress
hired
at all.
Yeah.
It was interesting to just be in the environment and being directed and having to do certain facial expressions over that just come naturally to me. I wear a lot of my expressions on my face, so it was fun. I have done it multiple times now with you guys, which is awesome, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it that day. I was a little shocked coming in, finding out that it would be me. I said, oh wow, today is the day that I decided to, kind of dress down, look kind of raggedy, I guess. And then you're like, hey, you're on camera today. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad. You guys made me feel really comfortable in the space, which
I hope so,
loved.
because we were just hanging out.
That's what's cool about it. It's like, it did feel like people were hanging out, and then also we were shooting a little thing.
But shooting stuff is my favorite way of hanging out. Like, seriously, it's the best. It's like when you get together with friends and then you create something out of that instead of just like hanging out watching a movie or something. Just hanging out and making movies.
I was nervous though, because it was I think that was the first time that we had other people besides, it was like you, me, and Alejandro.
That's right.
It was like, that was like the first time that we had
wow.
other people. And so I was excited to do it, but at the same time I was like, are we going to make a dumb video? Is Veronica not going to have fun?
No.
Is
Oh my
you know what I
gosh,
mean?
what?
Like all
No,
the stuff that I was really worried about. So
I was hoping that I wouldn't be terrible and that you would have to cut me out.
No, directing it was really fun because when we were getting that look, the slow zoom push in look, I mean, you just kind of nailed it, and I thought that was really funny. Although some people think that you're like trying to bone me.
Right,
Some people are like,
seriously?
That's been some
people have said like multiple.
look
It was
is,
two
yeah.
people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like it was separate from each other. That was like, I thought she was trying to bone you. And
That's
I'm
why
like,
we put the voiceover, the Shining moment.
yeah, that's why we did the Shining voiceover. It was just
Yeah,
trying to
Shining
Oh
voiceover.
my
clarify.
gosh, that's so not a face that I would make to someone.
What even would that face look like? Like, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so they thought you were like, ooh, now he's so blasted that he can't resist me.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and I was just like, I don't know how the fuck you got that. Actually, it was
Yeah,
you.
no.
You were the one who
said
thought that. No,
crazy.
yes, it was you.
I didn't
Oh,
say
wow.
that.
So I also want to go back to the riffing that you guys did in the beginning. Where I mean, those
Oh,
are
yeah,
real
yeah.
stories, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We were just talking about my trip to New Orleans, and we just happened to see Juvenile in
Juvenile.
multiple places. So that was fun.
That became the reoccurring joke that
Yeah.
like made the piece for
Well,
Alejandro.
he's from there, so it made sense. But I mean, you know, I didn't expect to see him. I didn't expect to see anyone. And we were just eating lunch, and there he appeared, peeping through the window. It's like, oh, okay.
He,
Wow,
like, looked
that's-
in?
Yeah, he
Right,
was
right,
like
right.
looking through the window of the restaurant. I think his wife was ordering food, and he was waiting for her outside. So I said, wait a minute,
hilarious.
that guy looks familiar. And then we saw him again later on the day. We were just walking. Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Little did he know.
Well,
I
that
know,
was
right?
But this was also like, so I was getting progressively more blasted as it went on, which
Yes.
was making me nervous because
Useless.
I was like, what am I gonna forget? Because like you just don't. My brain just does not function the same way when I'm
Yeah,
high.
we found that out.
Yeah, yes, you
multiple
did.
times.
Multiple
Really.
times. You found out. They're like, where is Will? He's just not even
Like, what's
present.
going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't get a bunch of coverage
out.
that I thought we needed, which was like
On your face. We just
on my-
didn't get
like
your
we
face.
didn't get me
I
from
loved
the
it.
front, like, you know. But then that became kind of a thing that became a reveal when I
Yeah.
was getting blasted, and you know, this was one to be like, you know, obviously I try to be a positive person, but I tend to freak out when things don't go the way that I want them to, or if
Really?
if I don't have
Really?
the footage, if I don't feel like I have the coverage, if I feel like I'm gonna have to
I've
fix a
seen
I haven't
video,
gotten that
it like
vibe
freaks
yet.
me the fuck out, and I don't like it. And so I was freaked out about this one because I was just
That's
like,
right.
I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know what I was like.
You're
What's
gonna
our
cut
story?
it. Right.
Like what is happening in it, and you know, on some level, the simplicity is what we're going for. You
Mm-hmm.
want the simplest idea that you then expand on. But I was like, wait, maybe it's just too simple because
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
all this
I do
happens is I
remember
just
saying
get
that.
too high.
You're just
That's
like,
it.
oh, is it just getting high? Is this just too, you know?
But
Yeah.
that's the
nothing going
theme.
on
That's
here.
trying to capture realistically what it's like to get high. And then once you had that, I think that pushed
kind
you in
of
the edit to make it
blossomed
exactly.
from
I don't know.
And it was
everything-
you too, because you were making sure that I was, you know, you were more optimistic. So you were like, let's figure it out. And then you had your own sound ideas.
Because
Because
these are all experiments.
Yeah.
All of these things are experiments, and there are no failures. Like, I really believe that. I think if we come out with something, then we cut something out of it. And maybe, you know, one or two reshoots, but most of
Yeah.
it's just like,
We just work with what we
just
have.
work with what you got.
That was a part of the ethos for sure. But
The big thing for me though about this wasn't necessarily just how it is when you're getting high. It was more of like seeing the person get too high, and from the perspective of the buddy of theirs that knows that they're gonna get too high, and then they go through that door. I think that a lot of people can relate to that experience, like seeing somebody else just get way too high.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't necessarily understand how high you were getting. You know, it just was obvious that you were getting high.
So then in the editing room,
but actually, wait, he came up with some really cool shots too, like in the moment, because I have a glass table on wheels.
right.
And he devised a way to use the glass table, my glass coffee table, as a dolly,
Yeah.
which is how we got that cool push-in shot.
and
Which-
every time, like, because it's not a real dolly, right? So every time it would go like way to the end of the table, and then like go over the side of the
it was
table,
on
and be like,
oh
"Ugh!"
shit! It was even worse.
We'd all jump for it.
It was a camera on a skateboard. It was a camera on a box
Yeah.
on a skateboard on my
Yes.
glass rolling table
Yes.
that he was pushing the length of the table.
And Alejandro would get so into the shot that he would
that
just
it would dump
not
off the end of the
notice
table.
Yes.
that it
Yeah.
would be there at the end of the table.
Oh man,
This
That
is
was
also-
really scary.
This is also a part of this process here. It's just like utilize whatever you have available to you
Yeah.
as best you can.
That's
and
right.
we've been
We've been doing that.
That
I
was
think
also
we're
a-
almost shot out of Will's place because we've used every angle and we used every prop in here. Like
but
there's the
it's
plants,
awesome.
there's
You haven't used the bathroom
VR
yet.
helmet. Yeah, we used the bathroom.
You did?
Yeah, and the
Oh, I
latest
wasn't
one
here.
that we shot. Phone talker. How did Cam get here?
Yeah, so
What does Cam think of all this shit?
Yeah.
Cam, she loves it. I mean,
Has she seen
she has seen it. Yeah, she thought it was hilarious. She actually fell asleep during the shooting because she was really, really high.
Yeah, see, we were actually all smoking joints
Yeah, we
and
were
smoking bongs
really,
and really
really
blasted
high.
the whole time.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, hey, I'm going
I
over a
wasn't.
friend's house. Do you want to come? And she said, yeah. She's always down to hang out with me and do some fun things.
Adventures.
Yeah, for sure.
More relaxed.
Yeah, she's more comfortable in front of the camera. She's been in videos and stuff like that before. So.
She was in the new J. Cole music
She
video.
was.
No big deal.
She was. So
She's
yeah,
a dancer, right?
she is a dancer.
No, but she's like in the video. She's like his
she's the main character,
his
main
girlfriend or
lead,
something.
yeah.
Well, we should put her in something else,
in his
dancing.
video. She's actually in the new J Rock video as well.
That's cool.
So yeah, so then what was your perspective on the edit of it?
Well, the editing of it, I think I came in when you had edited a rough cut. I think at that point, and you were struggling. You were like, "Oh, dude, I don't know if it makes sense." And I was like, "Dude, it's great. We just got to push it a little further." And then we started doing the sound design stuff, and we're like, "Oh, that's super cool. Like, make it like underwater and make it like, like your brain is expanding or something. Those sounds that the reverberation and stuff."
I mean, I really just tried to find uncomfortable, like on
and
the when I work on the shows and stuff on shows, like I have to do the temp sound design, and you realize how often in shows they just have some weird tone that's playing underneath the action, and you don't even notice it's there. You just experience it, and then it's only when you stop and you analyze it or you see it in a timeline that you're like, oh shit, there's like a bunch of components to it, and it's sometimes like a really low end rumbling sound added with a high end, high pitched like. It's called tinnitus when you like in Saving Private Ryan when a bomb goes off and then
and
they're
everything's
all like,
muted.
and the
The
guy's
ringing
picking
in
up
your
his
ear.
arm and shit, and he's just like, So that's what we did.
I wish that we could see like your hand gestures.
And then and so then you had the ocean sounds you wanted to put in, which were sort of like connected loosely to the fish,
yeah.
or
I feel like I have a little auditory hallucinations too when I'm super high. Like my brain almost makes those connections and then like plays that sound for me in my head.
definitely like the tinnitus. I feel like it can be a thing where you just like all of a sudden you hear just like a ringing in your ears.
Yeah. It's so interesting because like again the theme of like breaking apart these things that happen. I think the more we do that, the better it is. You know what I mean? It's like how to express visually and auditorily an experience, a human experience.
And along those lines, we actually had the opportunity to screen this short at an LA screening series at El Cid, called Unreasonable Shorts.
Alejandro wasn't there because he was in Peru.
Because he's never
Wonderful.
here. You were barely here earlier.
You
just got up in the middle of the podcast and
middle of the
left for like
podcast.
10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I was like, we should probably stop because he's not here.
It's a baller move, by the way.
It's making me very sad.
But you came back. It's good. And then we went to the screening, or we had the screening, and then we invited you to come out and see it, and that was super fun.
Yeah,
what
was.
was your experience
What was
watching
your experience of
it in the theater?
No, I
with all the
loved it. I
strangers?
mean, I first watched it on my phone, and you don't necessarily get all of the sounds that you were talking about, and so having or watching it there was really, really cool.
And the sound
you could,
system was
you could
huge.
feel it,
Yeah,
in
the
some
rumble
places.
of the bass was so intense.
Yeah.
I think their bass actually runs a little hot.
Yeah, I
it runs
think
a
so
little
too.
hot.
Well,
And-
Did you
know,
test
and
it
it
before?
worked.
there
What's
there
that?
were
Did you
others
test
that
it?
were a little too
Yeah, a
loud.
little too much.
No.
Yeah.
They just did one run?
It's not like I don't have a chance to really like communicate with them. I should probably mention it to them. Like, dude, the bass is so hot.
They
'Cause it was
must have
ruining other
checked
shorts.
it.
Other shorts had like music and score that was really intense, and
Yeah.
like
It-
it was
it
so
blew
intense
out
that it
the
was like
theater.
blowing
Don't
the speakers.
Right.
out.
Check it.
So it
Check
wasn't
the
just
levels.
it wasn't just like my sound mixing sucked or anything. It was that.
No, your
stuff
sound
ran.
mixing
But it was such a cool experience because we had 3 of our shorts in the festival.
Which ones
And,
played?
Constant Gardener. No, sorry, no, not Constant Gardener. Not Constant Gardener.
That would have been amazing.
Unbearable Lightness of Being, the waving one.
Oh, gotcha.
How High, and The Completionist. And
went
people
over really well.
were coming up to me afterwards and being like, dude, those were great. Those were funny.
Yeah, I heard people
They're
in
so
the restroom
awesome.
line talking about our shorts.
Oh, really? What did they say?
It was awesome. They're like, oh, you're the one from the high one.
That's great.
So yeah, it's like, oh man, it was so good.
Yes,
I could
but what
totally
did you
relate
hear
to
them
that.
say before they recognized?
What did they say about me?
What did you hear them say before they recognized?
Did they say anything about me?
I think it's a little hard not to recognize me.
Wait,
Yeah, I got recognized too.
But did anybody mention anything about how long it took? Like, did people ask about?
They said they liked that. That they liked that, like, it was short. That they were short shorts.
No,
Is
I
that
mean,
what you're talking about?
were they curious of how long it took to put together? Because
no,
I think
not
one
to
of the biggest
me.
things people don't realize that it's just like, oh, this is just like coming up on the
I
whim.
said it, and maybe I shouldn't say it in the future.
What?
But when I was up on stage, I was like, listen, I love getting together with my friends and just making these things. This is like, it took like a couple hours. But I could tell people, the other films in the film festival, they spent years making these films.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
see, that's
Well, except for the
might have came
48-hour
off like
film
a-
festival.
Right, the 48-hour films
Yeah.
that took 48 hours. But I don't know. I don't know if I should. That's something interesting that maybe
I was just curious
shouldn't
if
bring
they
up.
asked about it. Like, if anybody was like, oh, well, how long does that take to shoot?
I remember talking to one person who asked, I think, and I told him the truth. I said, "Doesn't take any time." I didn't take any time at all.
The truth.
But it does. In the editing room, it
Jake.
does.
The truth.
Being up on stage was weird for me. I hadn't done that in a long time.
Couldn't tell.
You're a natural.
I didn't listen to the first question. The first question was introduce yourself,
Right.
and I was like, making these films is. I was like I was
Yes,
my
I
own
was-
agenda.
Since I was a
boy.
young man.
It was very
I've had this
exciting.
dream.
Yeah.
I've had this dream of making films,
30 minutes
and
later.
then 30 minutes later, and then I handed it off, and then the girl literally
There
looked
was
at me and
nobody-
she was like, "My name is Jade." And I made this film, and then passed it on, and I was like, "Oh, that's what I was supposed to do."
Damn.
Yeah,
pretty funny.
never again. I'll never make the mistake again. But damn,
But no, it went over well, and I loved seeing it with the sound actually being really full and
Yeah,
feeling it rumble, because you're like, oh, that's what it's really like
Yes,
being high,
yes.
like if you're too high.
and plus you put a lot of time into the sound design. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to hear it. You
Well,
miss
also
that
I'm an
stuff.
amateur, so I'm basically, as far as sound mixing goes, and so I don't really
You're
know
a
what
pro
I'm doing.
at getting high, though.
Me, apparently. Well, am I?
I don't know, actually.
Amateurs all around.
She's like doing 100 milligram
you about to blow up her
edibles, and
spot real
I'm
quick?
like,
Okay,
I can.
damn.
I'm like 25, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I
Oh
don't
my
need
gosh,
anything more
that
than
would be a disappointment.
I know that would be like a tease.
Wow.
For me.
Yeah, that is. Why did I do
Not a
this? It makes no
full
sense.
experience. Well, we're gonna get high tonight, right? Because we're gonna go see this concert. So
Flying
Yeah.
Lotus.
we're gonna go see Flying Lotus.
Little Dragon.
nice.
I've been listening to Little Dragon.
Bad, not
all
good.
week.
What's that?
All the people who are playing.
Oh.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh, I haven't even looked at the rest of the lineup. I just
Bad,
know
Bad,
Flying
Not Good?
Lotus.
I
So
like that.
good.
Man. I like that
Uh-huh.
name. I haven't heard them.
There you got
jealous.
some sick shit.
Happy Father's Day, guys.
Are there any fathers in the room?
Happy Father's Day. Well, what else? What else do we say about it? You know?
I think it was a great experience and something that I want to replicate.
For me, well, we lit the Sunday one, but it was the first one in a couple of runs that we had, like, it was a night interior.
Mm-hmm.
So that was new.
Yeah.
Like, everything else that we had done was day, and even when we lit it, it was lit for day, like the Sunday one. But this one was actually like, oh, we were supposed to
At
make this
night, yeah.
night.
You're supposed to make it look like it's inside my house.
And did
Or,
we
you
use
know.
just one light? What do we use?
We just used the one light mat.
Mhm.
And no, we also used like some practicals inside, but it was all very
And what we shoot it on?
kind of simple. What?
Black Magic?
I think we shot on Black Magic.
Black Magic.
The
Ursa.
Ursa Mini 4.6?
Most
Yeah.
of them were the Ursa Mini Pro.
They're nerding out on me right now.
We think that
Yeah,
some
it was
people
the Ursa
might
Mini
care.
4.4.
Yeah, they might,
Maybe.
some people who are listening might
Yeah,
care.
no,
what
We
for
used
sure.
all
And
the
the
layers.
diopters.
I'm just
And
looking
the
around
diopters
at
gave
them,
the
like-
great separation in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
couch.
those diopters.
Diopters, man.
Diopters.
I think that was the introduction to the diopters.
No, we used them.
We used them on
before.
Constant Gardener.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
Use them on the Completionist.
That's
almost
right.
everything.
We should
I
use them
think.
on everything. Really.
They're so
They
good.
just look great.
They're just good in the kit. You should see with some of the other shit that I've been doing with not just diopters, but like prisms and cutout diopters that
Bring it to the group.
the
Wow.
tubes. That other thing that I shot in Japan had neon lights, and then we put tubes on the bottom of the matte box, and it stretched out the neon lights like these weird streaks. It was great.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyways,
It's like a bouquet.
if we do
You
no,
should even come-
it's like a foreground streak of light, like a weird flare. But like we haven't done any kind of sci-fi type shit, or the VR I guess was like
We
the
have done a
future.
sci-fi one. You just weren't here for it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Damn
But he'll
it.
get to do the reshoots. He'll
Yeah,
get to do the reshoots on
that's
that
true.
shitty one that we shot.
Well,
Shitty because
maybe he
because
just
I
we
shot
still have a
reshoots
lot
the
to
whole thing.
explore.
Maybe he just reshoots the whole thing.
We have many more.
Some question I was
Many
gonna
more
ask
days.
Alejandro, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
Okay,
that was a good
that was
one.
cool.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from you? You're the special guest.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You got it. Well, on that note,
On that note, see you next time.
peace out.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.